So we're going to be learning how to write good hypotheses. And when you're designing an experiment, you've got your question. The hypotheses should be all of the possible outcomes of what might happen when you actually do the experiment. So you want to be clear about what's being changed, the independent variable, and about what you're measuring, which is the dependent variable. So if we think about the penny lab that we did, our question is, which type of water, plain, soapy, or salty, will have the most drops of water held on a penny? So when we think about all of our possible outcomes, one outcome could be the penny will hold more drops of the plain water than the other types of water, or maybe the penny will hold more drops of soapy water than the others, or maybe the penny will hold more drops of the salty water than the plain or the soapy. So we also want to consider, what if there isn't a difference? What if changing the type of water doesn't make any difference in the number of drops held? So that's called our null hypothesis, where it just doesn't make a difference. So the first part of working with your hypotheses is to just list all of those possible outcomes. So those would be the H1, H2, H3, and the H null. Now, depending on the experiment, you might only have an H1, an H2, and a null hypothesis. It just depends on how many different types of water you're testing. So looking at the example of our breathing rate lab, where we were testing which activity is going to cause us to have the highest or the greatest breathing rate, or number of breaths per minute. So in that case, we've got the possibility that the number of breaths per minute will be highest after running, or the number of breaths per minute will be highest after walking in place, or the number of breaths per minute will be highest after sitting. Then we also have our null hypothesis, where there will be no difference. So always make sure when you're outlining the hypotheses to be clear with exactly what it is you're comparing. Be sure that you list all of the possible outcomes. And then it's also important to select which do you think is the most likely to happen, and explain why you think this. And if you can use some scientific reasoning, that's awesome. You might also use maybe some experience you have with that topic. Maybe you've experienced something related to this, or you've seen something related. So it could be some background knowledge or experience that's leading you to select which one you think is the most likely. So if you're looking to score a higher scale on the IB rubric, you can look at the differences between the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 level. So yeah, good luck. Please refer back to this when you are designing your own experiments. Thanks.